You know, in the PR world, there's this massive difference between just seeing your name in headlines and actually truly understanding the story that's being told about you. Today, we're going to dig into that exact gap, the huge leap from just counting media mentions to harnessing real media intelligence. So let's jump right in.
So let me ask you something right off the bat. Are you measuring what really matters? Seriously, if your team's success is still being judged by the sheer volume of mentions you get, you're tracking activity, sure, but you're not tracking impact. And that's the core problem we're going to unpack today. In this quote, it just nails it. This is the solution. It's all about moving PR from just reacting and tracking to having genuine strategic foresight. It's not about collecting a folder full of clips. It's about understanding the big narratives that are actually shaping how people see your brand. All right, so here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to talk about why just counting mentions is a totally flawed strategy. Then, we'll get crystal clear on the difference between basic monitoring and real intelligence. After that, we'll see how that intelligence fuels better decisions, dive into how to pick the right tools, and finally, we'll take a look at the AI-powered future of this entire industry.
Okay, first up, moving beyond just counting. For so long, the motto in PR was pretty simple. More is more, right? Get more mentions, more coverage, more visibility. But, as we're about to see, that way of thinking has some pretty serious blind spots.
I mean, think about it. Getting hit with thousands of mentions isn't a win. It's just an avalanche of noise. If you don't have a way to actually interpret it, you're just staring at a mountain of data, totally buried, with no clue what any of it actually means. It's just more work, not more clarity.
And that brings us to the most important question in modern PR. We have to stop asking, how many mentions did we get, and really start asking, so what? What does it all mean? What's the story they're building about us? And what's the real, tangible impact on our reputation? That's the leap. Okay, next up, monitoring versus intelligence. Now, you hear these words thrown around all the time, often like they mean the same thing, but they represent two completely different ways of thinking and working. They are not the same thing, not even close.
So, let's start with media monitoring. Think of this as like the basic grunt work. It's the absolutely essential job of collecting all the raw data, scanning news sites, social media, TV, you name it, to find every time your brand is mentioned. It tells you what happened and where.
But media intelligence, now that's the good stuff. That's the strategic layer you build on top of all that raw data. It takes that avalanche of information and actually applies analysis to pull out the meaning. It answers the questions that really matter. Why is this important? And maybe most importantly, so what are we going to do about it?
And look, this table breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you've got monitoring. Its function is just collection. The output is just a list of mentions. It's reactive. But on the other side, intelligence. Its function is analysis. Its output is actual insight. It's proactive. It's the difference between knowing something happened and knowing what to do next.
All right, section 3. So how does this actually play out? How do we get from just having a bunch of data to making smarter, faster decisions that actually move the needle for the business?
Well, it really comes down to 3 game-changing advantages. First, you get to be proactive. You can actually see narratives starting to form, and you can get in there and shape them, instead of just cleaning up the mess later. Second, you can finally connect the dots between your PR work and real business goals. And third, and this one is huge, when a crisis hits, you have context. You're not just dealing with a fire hose of alerts. That means you can respond way faster and with a ton more confidence. And this quote, this is what your CEO's thinking. Decision makers need context, not clip counts. Your leadership team, they don't care about a stack of 500 articles. They want to know what those articles did. Did we improve how people see us? Did we get a leg up on a competitor? Intelligence is what gives you those answers.
All right, enough theory. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does adopting an intelligence mindset actually change the day-to-day work for a modern communications team?
So here are 5 huge ways you can put intelligence to work, like right now. First, campaign planning. You can see what conversations are already happening so your message actually lands. Second, competitive positioning. You can see if you're actually leading the conversation in your industry. It also gives you incredible audience insights, helps you create executive reports that actually mean something, and, maybe the most valuable of all, it helps you spot risks before they blow up into a full-blown crisis. Okay, so maybe you're sold. You're ready to make the leap. But where do you even start? What should you actually be looking for in a media intelligence platform? The market's crowded, and trust me, they are not all created equal.
Listen, if you're shopping for a tool, here are 3 things that are absolutely non-negotiable. 1. Focus on the depth of the analysis, not just the volume of data. Quality of insight beats quantity of noise every single time. 2. It has to integrate seamlessly into your workflow. And 3. Look for tools that have forward-looking, predictive features. You want to know what's coming next, not just what already happened.
And hey, screenshot this if you need to. Here are the tough questions you absolutely have to ask any vendor you're talking to. Don't just ask about sentiment. Ask if the tool can tell you why sentiment changed. Don't just ask if it has alerts. Ask how it integrates with Slack. And this one's key. Ask if it can automatically group mentions into bigger themes so you can see the forest for the trees.
And for our last section, let's talk about the magic ingredient, the engine that makes all of this modern intelligence even possible. And that's artificial intelligence. You know, AI is basically the supercharger for this whole process. It's like having a team of 1 million analysts working for you 24/7, reading and understanding and connecting the dots between thousands of sources in seconds. It's what makes that dream of a real-time, strategic response actually possible.
And look, this isn't just some fuzzy, futuristic idea. The numbers are in. 73% of PR pros say they work faster with AI. 70% say it flat out improves the quality of their work. We're not talking about small improvements here. This is a total transformation of how the job gets done.
But here's a really important point. This isn't about AI replacing people, not at all. It's about a partnership. The AI does the heavy lifting. It sifts through all the noise to find those critical signals, and that frees up you, the human strategist, to do what humans do best, interpret what it all means, and figure out the winning move.
So, if there's just one thing you take away from all this, let it be this quote. Monitoring is a look in the rearview mirror. It tells you what happened yesterday. Intelligence? That's like turning on the high beams. It shows you what's taking shape on the road ahead, both the opportunities and the dangers, before you get there. That is the entire game.
And that leaves us with one final big question. In today's crazy media world, your company's reputation isn't just happening by accident. It's being shaped, it's being engineered by thousands of different forces every single day. So the real question is, are you just going to sit back and watch it happen, or are you going to be the one holding the plans?